So today we're going to talk about the Molar stroke. Now, I did a video on the Molar stroke several years ago. It wasn't very good. I'm going to try to do it again concisely. The old school Molar stroke, where you had to move your elbow out and lift the stick up and bring it down in an over the head type motion, that is not the Molar stroke I'm talking about. It's the same concept. You're using the same mechanics, but we're going to do it in a tiny, good for the drum set while you're playing a groove or a fill type of way. So why you would want the Molar stroke? Accents, speed, and stamina. You can improve all three of those things by using a Molar stroke versus a regular linear wrist stroke. The reason Molar stroke works, it's a multiple fulcrum stroke. Normally you have a fulcrum here. In a Molar stroke, you have a fulcrum in both of these places, here and here. And so the stick moves more like this, which is a little bit smoother and more fluid than this, which is really super linear. The old school Molar stroke had this massive setup, like I said. In the modern useful Molar stroke for drum set playing, we're only going to move the stick about this far. So my hand is here when it's in the sort of ready position. If I want to play a stroke, the preparation is only up to here, maximum. I'm not going to go any higher. Then I flip my wrist over and bring the back end of the stick down and create sort of a whipping motion. So in either case, I'm moving the back end of the stick first, moving it up. The tip is the last thing to go up. Then when I go for the down section, I move the back end of the stick first again, then the tip moves second. So super slow-mo, up with the back, flip the wrist over, down with the back, then the tip hits. Okay, so that is the typical sort of downstroke side of the Molar. There's also an upstroke side where basically on the way to that up position, you just happen to tap the drum like this. You're not playing a note with your wrist so much as you're lifting the back of the stick just like we did before. Your stick tip happens to maybe hit the drum on the way. I mean, you're doing it on purpose, but you're not putting any energy into it. It's the same amount of energy as if you didn't hit the drum. You just make it so that you do hit the drum. So if you do an upstroke, then you're perfectly ready for the next downstroke. Up, down, up, down. And I'm doing all this in just this amount of space. My elbow doesn't have to move at all from my body if it doesn't want to. There's no shoulder involvement, just this amount of space. And that's the maximum. I can actually do the Molar stroke in less space. This, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Those are Molar strokes. They're tiny. And that's okay because you want to economize the motion. But you have to get the feeling of it. So basically, however much energy it takes you to play Molar downstrokes, playing Molar up and down should be almost exactly the same amount of energy. No extra effort required. So you're actually gaining like a free stroke out of the deal. So if you want to play fast, that's great. If you want to use Molar purely for accents, it's still great because normally to make an accent you either have to put a lot of force into the drum, which is not good, or you have to move the stick a large distance to gain speed if you're moving in a linear fashion. But if you're moving in a non-linear multiple fulcrum fashion, you can move the stick a very small amount, and by whipping the tip, you can create a lot of noise compared to your non-accent. And how much you exaggerate that is up to your personal playing taste. So great exercises to work on these would be the first two exercises from Jay Wanamaker's, sorry if I mispronounced that name, book, the Rudimental Contest Solos. It's a book. In the back, basically, there's a page called Chop Builders, and it's supposed to be exercises to help you play the rudimental solos in the book. But it's actually great. I use it in my teaching. I know a bunch of other teachers who also use it as just a standalone worksheet. And so the first exercise goes like this. So basically, a measure of accents on the downbeat, a measure of accents on the upbeat, a measure of accents on the downbeat, a measure of accents on the upbeat. Just alternated, 4 measures, eighth notes. And then essentially the first measure is right, second and third measure are left, fourth measure is right again. So you get one of each measure with each hand. You're just going through all the possibilities. Right hand downstroke, right hand upstroke, left hand downstroke, left hand upstroke. So I'll do that one more time quickly. If I can find the exercise, which I've somehow misplaced, I'll link to it in the description. Then you can do a triple molar stroke, topic for a different day, but this is the small, useful molar stroke that real drum set players actually play today.